there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Scraptember with the Scrappy Sisters. And today's prompt is mixed media. I'm doing the 6x12 insert that goes in the page that I did on Monday. And so I'm using the Vicky Bouton art crayons once again to create my background. And these ones are not going to have any of the the hot air balloons on them. It's just going to be a background. So the first one I'm doing with the cool colors. So that page is going to kind of go opposite of the right-hand page, which had more of the cool color hot air balloons on it. And then the opposite side of this page is going to be the warm colors, which is going to face the left hand of the double page layout from Monday, which has more of the warm color uh, hot air balloons on it. So I just gently rubbed them down. These are, I think they're considered an oil pastel, but they're kind of soft, but not really soft. So you just kind of rub them down and you get them wet. If you try to color them on the paper and get them wet, it will create some pigment for you, but you'll never get rid of the line of the coloring that you did. So that never actually rubs out. Your paper will just start to pill and it doesn't work very well. So if you're going to blend your colors, you need to blend them on your packaging, or in my case, I'm using my acrylic block. You could also do it right on your desk if you have a media mat or a glass mat like I do, and then you could put it your paper face down in that to pick up the pigment. And then um, you'll have a really cool background. So I don't want my background to be perfect. It's not necessary. It's okay if it has some white space. I did want to bring a little bit more of the yellowy green in, so that's what I was just doing there. I also brought in a little bit of the darker blue and to the top portion of it, and I think it looks really good. I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to do the reverse side. I do know there is a little spot, a wet spot on my paper. You can see it kind of just to the upper side of middle, and so that's going to pick up a little bit more pigment because that paper is saturated right there. I'm not worried about it because my photos are going to cover up that spot. So if it was in a different spot, it might be more of a concern to me, but it's not at this point. As I'm mixing my colors, I wanted to start with my lightest color first, because if I don't, my lightest color is going to be the same shade as my darker color. So a little bit more of the lighter pigment than what you would think, and a little less of the darker pigment. And in this case, I knew I already had the darker pigment on my brush. So I started with the darker pigment, and then you saw me dip my brush. Well, you didn't see it because it's off screen, but my water supply is in the upper left-hand corner of my screen, and I dipped it in there and cleaned it off before I went to that peachy color. And now I'm going to bring some of the yellowy orange colors and the peaches down into the bottom half of this layout. And I think it looks really cool. You can see the photo that I'm going to use is the balloons in the upper right hand corner. So I'm going to be using that. And then I have a picture of my niece sitting looking at those balloons. And so those two are going to go on this back half of the page. Now my paper was warping. It was cupping, doing the reverse of a cup. It was cupping to the blue side, creating kind of a rainbow arch effect on the back side. And so I just used a magnet to hold it down. When I flipped it back over, I had this blob of purple on my my cool side. So instead of trying to scrape it off or starting all over, I just embraced it and wet it down and considered it part of the layout. And I think it's fine. It's not going to bother me at all. Um, it's not really the prettiest purple over top of the green, but it looks great over top of the blue up top. So I'm not too worried about it. The photo I'm using here is of my niece's oldest, and she is getting ready to do a zip line. So I pulled this zip line image off of Creative Fabrica. I did have to modify it just a bit. It came with, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 zipline images. So I had to single this one out because they all came as one big file. And then I actually stretched out the zip line because I wasn't really sure if I was going to put this on the 12x12 page or if I was just going to put it on the 6x12. And so I didn't want to have to recut it. So I just cut it with the 12x12 in mind. and I wasn't sure which way he was going to be facing, so I made that zip line extra long and I went diagonal across my cutting mat to give it some extra length so that I had the option of doing both. I also went over to my Silhouette machine or my Silhouette software and cut out the words zipline in the same fonts that I used on Monday. I'm just using the negative space here to line up my letters. And then I cut uh, in the white the word adventure. So it's going to say zipline adventure, just like it did on Monday, except Monday, my background letters, my big bold letters, I painted them in a rainbow kind of effect. And I had a black words over the top. This I'm doing the reverse, although I'm not going to paint my top word. I'm going to leave it white and keep it really simple. So uh, the fonts that I'm using, I don't remember the name of the black bold font. Impact is a really good one to use. I've used that one several times, although this one is not called Impact. And then the one that's stretched out is called Farmhouse. And I love the way that the two kind of play off of each other and you can read both. And I did also had a couple of leftover clouds from Monday's layout, so I'm going to pull those in right behind the zip liner just to give some added detail up above, bring in more of the white so it really matches the rest of the layout very well. Um, my layout on Monday did have a black border around it. I'm not doing any black border around this. I'm going to leave it because it's an insert. I didn't want it to kind of have a black harsh line next to the page that it was sitting on top of when you looked at it. So I just kind of left it and I think it looks okay. At the end of the video, I will flip through the two um, pages or the double page with this in the middle so you can kind of see how it looks. And I think it looks really nice and I'm hoping my niece does too because she was looking forward to getting these in her album, and I think she's going to enjoy them. So I've also pulled in some ephemera from the 49 and Market Spectrum Sherbert collection because I still have more of that. I keep saying that every time I pull it out. There was a lot of it, you guys. I must have really loved this collection because I pulled out tons of it. So I'm going to pull in some of that and just kind of soften up this and play off those oranges and pinks in the photos, and I love the way that this ends up looking. I will be using a little black set distress ink to make everything pop just a little bit more. While I work on that, I wanted to let you know there are a bunch of people playing along with Scraptember. This is a series that the Scrappy Sisters OZ on Instagram have been doing for a few years now, and I've really enjoyed playing along in years past. I don't necessarily play along every single day, but I will be playing along here and there throughout the month. And there is a playlist link down below for you in case you're interested in checking out any of the videos that other people have done or past videos that I might have done for 2025. So I will also put a link on my screen at the very end here for the 2024 playlist in case you want to go back and check out anything from 2024. So again, the playlist for 2024 will be up on the screen and the one for the 2025 will be in the description box, as will the products that I'm using on this video, if they're still available. So probably probably mostly the tools and maybe the bins that I have the products in from the 49 and Market products because a lot of people ask me about those. They're great. They're more than 12 inches long, so they just slightly more than 12. So you can really get all of your border strips in there or your branding strips, and they hold quite a bit. So and they stack up really nicely. They are iris bins from Amazon, so I'll put a link for those down below for you. Now here, I went ahead and stapled my little tab top in, not thinking about that the other side actually has stuff on it. So it went right through the cloud and I didn't really want it to show. So I pulled the staples out. I was able to kind of cover up those holes by just pushing the paper right back down into the hole, the paper that kind of came out with the um, end of the staple. So I just used my tweezers to do that. And it it doesn't show very much at all, and I think it's fine. So I went ahead and put the staples in and then actually glued the tab on, and then I'm going to do the same with a tab on the zip line page, but I'm going to staple it before I make a hole in it. And lesson learned. Think about what you're doing here. When I'm not used to creating back to back. Normally, I would have two different papers, but because this mixed media paper is so thick, I figured it was fine to do it back to back. But normally, that's not what I do. I normally have two pieces of paper that are individual and I smish them back to back inside the page protector. But in this case, since the backgrounds are created back to back, that wasn't an option. So I did add a little foliage here just to soften everything up, and I think it looks really cool. Here is how it looks inside the insert. You can see the cooler colors go with the cooler side, the warmer colors go with the warmer side. I like how it looks. I hope that you do too. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. So thanks for spending time with me. Don't forget to check out the other videos for Scraptember. Um, Again, today was mixed media. Each day, all month long, it's a different prompt. And so come back and check out my videos because I'll be playing along here and there again throughout the month. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys again soon with another video. Bye-bye.